Good morning. How's it going out there, folks? Welcome back here to the weekend. It is Saturday, March 15th, 2025, 10:25 a.m. That's California time here, just outside of Chico in Northern California. Latest activity here shows a little 1.5 California, Southern California that is, and also a 5.1 here starting to creep into the quiet zone there outside of Papua New Guinea area. I say this is a quiet zone because, well, there has not been a lot of earthquake activity here in the last week. Most of the movement happening deep here across the Tonga Trench and the Fiji area, skipping over this area right here, this plate boundary. Normally that does not last too long in terms of quietness. So today it looks like we're starting to fill in a little bit across this area. I expect more to fill in here soon, maybe in a bigger fashion than what we're seeing right now. But for now, 5.1 within the last hour around Papua New Guinea area. We'll keep that region in watch here today. Also, Southern California, a little bit of movement down here. No surprise earthquakes, no error earthquakes being reported down here today. Just the typical movement. If you look at the number of earthquakes down here, just strictly across Southern California, we got about 33 earthquakes in the last 24 hours. One earthquake above 2.5. That's going to be a 2.8. Now, for the most part, not too many people going to feel anything below that threshold there as far as 2.5 goes. So even though we've had, 33 earthquakes out here in the last 24 hours, the majority of these were not felt. No unusual swarms out here across Southern California for now. A couple earthquakes there in the Los Angeles area, but it looks like any given day out there as far as earthquake movement goes. Bay Area, pretty quiet. Northern California, nothing showing up here. Looking at the seismograph station there in Mendocino, around the Eureka area, Northern California, shows pretty quiet conditions there, so not a whole lot of earthquake activity happening for now. Seattle area, north, let's see, a couple twos out there, really nothing of any unusual activity for now. As far as Yellowstone goes, Yellowstone super volcano, nothing showing up on the map, but we will verify that just to make sure. We'll go over here to the recorded seismograph stations, and it looks like there was, well, a little bit of earthquake activity here in the last couple hours across the northwestern area of Yellowstone National Park. Notice a very small handful of earthquakes, but notice that this showed up here on Maple Creek, Purple Mountain, Mary Lake. It's going to be this little spike of an earthquake right there. That probably is a 1.8, maybe to a 2-pointer. Might be up around the magnitude 2.0. USGS not reporting those, well, because it's the weekend. Not too many people paying attention to the microquakes out here. But for the most part, anything that happens above 2.5 should trigger the preliminary earthquake system here on the computer. But the quakes under that, not so much. They'll get to those on Monday morning. Texas oil fields still rocking out there. Nothing major going on as far as earthquakes go. But, man, they had a huge old dust storm out here and caused a, 60, 70 car pile up there south of Amarillo. Pretty scary. Out in the New Madrid seismic zone at 1.9 late last night. Nothing major going on out there, though, for now. Still looking at increasing earthquake activity here across the Middle America Trench and the Puerto Rico area, where there's still an ongoing earthquake swarm here. On the southern area of Puerto Rico, this has been an off and on pattern here over the last several years. It's pretty much an area that gets squeezed and pushed around. You got the Mariotos Trough here to the south and the Puerto Rico Trench here to the north. So this is uplifting, creating these little earthquake swarms here. And normally here, when we got that type of activity, got to watch the Mariotos Trough here. That could be a sign that we're maybe looking at some larger potential there. So far as the last 24 hours, largest magnitude here on the map, 6-pointer down in the South Sandwich Trench. You guys remember that? Was it yesterday or the day before? I mentioned that there was a little bit of odd movement happening down here around Drake's Passage area. I thought maybe we had one up here too. Let me see. Last 30 days. Maybe not. But yeah, in the last 7 days here, we've had a little bit of activity southern end here of this plate boundary. And I mentioned, and it sure enough came true here, to watch the South Sandwich Trench here, because most of the time earthquake activity here will lead to back building strain across this area, and that's where that 6-pointer struck there yesterday. A couple earthquakes there around Italy, and it looks like, well, this earthquake here around the Campi Flegrei region outside of Naples there, they're reporting a 3.2. That's interesting that USGS is reporting that. Let's go over and check out the Volcano Discovery website real quick, see if they got any more information on it. I know there's been a little bit of earthquake activity around the Campi Flegrei region there, around Italy. Let's see if there's any information statement here. This is it right here. Looks like a 3.9 occurred. When was this put out? It's getting more and more restless according to this site here. A 3.9 earthquake occurred an hour ago, leaving many worried about the state of the caldera volcano. It followed the magnitude 4.4 earthquake that shook the area. There we go. Trying to create some new words here. At 1:25 on March 13th. So this was just that was a couple days ago when the 4.4 came in. It ranks as one of the strongest quakes ever to be recorded since the area has been monitored instrumentally. It coincides with the current phase of accelerated levels of ground uplift and raises fears that it could be a precursor to a volcanic eruption. The CO2 emissions around there does not show evidence that a volcanic eruption in the Campi Flegrei area might be imminent. This is an area, right, of land across this area of the volcanic field where it inflates and deflates all the time. And during times of inflation, obviously there might be, concern that it could lead to a volcanic eruption. And of course, earthquake activity follows that inflation and even deflation. But at the moment, nothing out of the ordinary, even though we've seen that 4.4 earthquake there a couple days ago. Nothing out of the ordinary far as any elevated volcanic gases in the region. As far as earthquake activity goes, we'll double check that and see what we got over there across the area. That's going to be right about here. A little bit of earthquake activity, right? There around the Naples area, Campi Flegrei region. Got, what do we got? 42 earthquakes? That's what it's showing here? 39? Something like that here on the map. 3.2. That's further down south here. But as far as, any unusual patterns here across that volcanic field, I just don't see it. But it's one of the areas, that get some earthquake activity, ground inflation and whatnot, and that's been happening for a long time. Eventually, one of these times, we could see an eruption out there. But as far as any unusual patterns going on, it's not happening right now, but that's why they continue to monitor it. The Santorini area of Greece, holding steady at about 361 earthquakes here in the last week, various magnitudes, nothing of any unusual activity. This is still continuing to dwindle down after several weeks there of increasing earthquake activity around the underwater, the seamounts here, and also the Santorini volcano right in the crater area too. So, but it's going down. No, I don't know when the last big earthquake was out here as far as the magnitude level goes. It looks like the 4.0 back on the 8th of this month. One earthquake yesterday of a 3.8. So that should show up on the geophysics site. Let me double check here and see what we have here across the graphs. I think we actually seen that yesterday, right? I don't know. I had a whole bunch of earthquakes I put out yesterday there, and or a lot of videos put out. A whole bunch of earthquakes I put out. No, I didn't issue these earthquakes. Yeah, maybe there's a 3-pointer right there. This is recent though, so still seeing some 2s, lots of 1s, and occasional 3. But as far as any escalation goes around there, it's just holding steady. So movement up along the plate boundary as well. Eastern side of that region, the 5-pointer from yesterday. The newest one down here, though, 3.2. New Zealand, pretty quiet. Like I said, watch this area right back in here. It's been awfully quiet here over the last week. That should fill in quite nicely soon. Deeper activity here across the Japan region. And the Atlantic Ocean, pretty quiet. Not a whole lot happening right now. Let's go check out Iceland, see if there's anything major going on up that way. Of course, probably getting close here to seeing another eruption there across the Iceland, the Svartsengi area. We got, let's see what we got. Was that, whoa, what just happened there? It zoomed in way up north. So there's still some earthquake activity happening here. Is this the last? Let's see here. Well, it's 24 hours. Still seeing some movement here across the area, the rift boundary to the southwest of the area of interest. That would be up here across the Craters Row area where the last few eruptions have taken place. Northeast of Grindavik, Blue Lagoon, never been out there. Sounds kind of fun, but at this current state, I don't know. I might want to wait until after it calms down. But when things start to escalate out here, as far as earthquake activity, they know that there's pretty much an eruption imminent, so they get people out of here quickly. We got the power plant, Blue Lagoon over here. And some earthquake activity, but nothing of escalation for now. But I think we're getting close. We got some pretty much maximum inflation going on down here across the area. And our last, the pause in the eruption happened back in early December 2024. So we're at a time period here where we should see things escalate in terms of a new eruption across the area. All right, let's see. Space weather activity real quick. Not a whole lot going on the sun. No major auroras there in the forecast. We do have a number of sunspots out here. Quite a few of them if you look. The sun is peppered with them. A lot of different sunspots, but really not a whole lot of interesting ones. They're all fairly stable. The only area of some interest is going to be back over here, this little regional group. We'll keep an eye on that maybe for an M flare or two, but not really expecting anything major here unless something drastic happens as far as some rapid development. Storm Prediction Center, man, did you guys hear all about the tornado activity? I'm sure you did. It's all over social media. Yesterday, let me see what we got here. Look at these reports. There was just a line of tornado-warned storms out there last night. Pretty crazy. That's going to happen again tonight. There was 30 reports of tornadoes. I believe this is just preliminary at the moment. They will be confirmed eventually. But that's what just happened there. It showed 30. Now it's back down to 27. Let me see here. Did I miss? What in the world? Hold on a second here. That's weird. It just keeps bouncing back and forth. Or maybe it's just me messing this up. Anyway, 27 or 30, take your pick. I wonder why it's doing that. 466 wind reports. That was a high potential out there as well. Hail reports as well. Look at that, 785 severe weather reports. That's for yesterday. A lot of tornado damage out there across certain areas. That is going to happen again today. They're already firing up out here across this area of the high risk. I was just looking at radar. This is, if you look here on the radar scope app, you can see this. It's kind of a hot pink color or light purple, I guess, on my end. I don't know what you have your color set on your computer or TV or your phone, but this is a main high risk area. We're just getting those storms firing up on the western side of it. So it is within the moderate zone already. We do have a number of tornado warnings out there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. This is going to continue through the afternoon here, and you get all these storms starting to fire up ahead of that main line. But you got these embedded tornado potential as well. Pretty big severe weather risk today, folks. We don't see that too often as far as the high risk goes. If you're down there today, keep your weather radio handy. Keep your phone on. A lot of times when these tornado warnings pop up, your cell phone service provider will send out a tornado warning in your area. Either way, today's not a day to be complacent. Don't take a nap. Stay alert out here. Don't get complacent today. That's a big deal. Huge tornado risk today. A huge, massive area of potential, 23 million people potentially being affected. Wind, pretty big windbag deal up there as well, and hail. Be prepared, folks. A lot going on out there right now. Seismograph station's pretty quiet. One little earthquake showing up there in Chile. Aside from that, it's a beautiful day. Got some cloud cover out here in Northern California. Excuse me. And chances of rain tonight. I think more tomorrow and next week. So it's nice. I enjoy the rain. It'd be nice if it stayed wet here at least till mid-April. I'd be happy about that. But anyway, I got to get going, folks. Notice that the USGS here still has this message on the bottom of their screen that the shake alert system is currently offline for emergency maintenance. Isn't that interesting? Let's hope that we don't get a big earthquake out here this weekend while the network is down. It's not necessarily the network as far as USGS reporting goes, but it's the early alert shake system that so many people use out there, and I've been kind of throwing it out there as well, that it's a handy-dandy app, but it's offline for emergency maintenance. All other earthquake monitoring by the USGS and its partners is active and uninterrupted. Remember to drop cover and hold on if you feel shaking or get an alert. You're not going to get an alert, right, if it's currently offline. That's doesn't make sense. But hopefully they get that back up. But as of right now, it looks like it's still down. No word from the USGS. I kind of emailed them here about that 4.6 earthquake from yesterday that caused a little bit of confusion. That email will probably get answered hopefully on Monday when they get into office here. But yeah, anyway, I've covered that a handful of times in the past 24 hours. Hawaii, little earthquake activity out there just off the west coast. I don't think... let me check here real quick and see what we got. Still pause as of the 11th. Take a look here at the webcam. Still smoking like crazy. That's volcanic gases out there. Sun flare, a lens flare right here. Over here as well. The deformation data, let's see what we got here for that region of Kilauea Volcano. Going up, I'm not for sure what happened here. That almost looks like an instrument adjustment there that took place. But it's got a weird little, unless there was a small eruption overnight, I don't know. It dropped here and then it went back up, but I don't know. They don't mention anything there about any type of eruption. Anyway, have a good day, folks. Enjoy the weekend. Please stay safe out there if you're out around that severe weather today. We'll catch you guys back out here a little bit later on this evening. Of course, unless something major happens here. Have a good day. Enjoy.